So now we're going to talk about the Kotter Change model. This is just one of the models for change management. And what change management is right now you're in a specific state, your organization is in a state, and you want to get it to a different state. Now we talk about our desired future, the things you want to go in the past, or in the future, but people are rooted in the decisions that they've made in the past and the way that things are now. And inherently for human beings, it's hard for them to see things that are different and in the future. So by incorporating a change model, such as Kotter's model, it makes the transition from where you are now to where you want to go in the future easier by creating some steps, some frameworks, and some guidelines on how you can support your people through that change. So you'll find that in the strategic planning process, you can run through a process, you can create strategies and plans and tactics and do everything that we talk about. But the hard part as part of the execution is actually getting your people on board to live the change, agree with the change, and really buy into the change. And getting buy-in to your strategy is such an understated and key factor to what it is, and the Kotter Change model will help you do that. Again, this is one of those things that you could research and learn about for hours and hours, and this is really just meant to be a quick overview to give you an understanding of the pieces that go around the strategic plan that you really need to incorporate in order to be successful. So let's get right into it. So this is the 8-step Kotter Change model. So John Kotter, who's a Harvard business professor, created this model about 20 years ago to help organizations implement change as part of the management science. So the first part of the change model, so this is getting these 1 through 3 is getting everybody ready for change. So step 1 is establish urgency. If there is no urgency, people will not change. So you need to really, as part of the planning process, create urgency to say, we need to do this now or else. And it's not fear-based urgency, it's just getting everybody on the team understanding of why we're doing this and why we're doing this now and what the risks are if we don't do this now. What is it going to mean? Creating a guiding coalition. So if you've already put together your strategic planning team, then you have your guiding coalition, but you also want to get different people at different levels of the organization to get behind the change you're trying to create. Those people have to be and will be the most excited about the change. They'll be the ones driving the change forward and leading it. But if there's nobody leading the change, then you're going to have a hard time moving forward as far as any change model or change process. So really creating a guiding coalition, creating a team of cheerleaders and of people that are supporting the project and the change process is key to ingraining the change as part of your organization. So developing a change vision. We've talked about creating a vision for the future, and that's exactly it. Creating a future state of what the organization is going to look like once these changes start to go in place. So at this point, it's all imagination because they don't see the change happening, but creating urgency, making sure that it gets done now, creating the guiding coalition to support that change, and then developing a change vision. The ideal future is like, this is why we're doing this, and this is why we're excited about it, are the first 3 steps in setting the tone for your team to create change within your organization. So once we get the start, this is not the technical name, but you just needed to know it's the start. Then we say start working forward and beginning the change within the organization. So next, once you develop the change vision, then you have to communicate a change vision. So we talk about the communication plan as part of the strategic planning process, and that's exactly what this is. That's why we do it. So you communicate the change vision for buy-in. You want people to be part of that future. You want people to want that vision, and you want them to buy in, to be invested, to say, yes, I believe in that. I want to be part of it. Now, you're going to find some people in your organization that might not share the same vision as you. They might look at what the organization is doing and saying, I don't think that's realistic. I don't want to go there. That's not what I want to do. And it sounds really negative, but it is really negative in the fact that if you have people, once you've communicated this change and they aren't bought in, then you really want to look at getting them out of your organization. It might sound harsh, but if they're not with the team, they're against the team. And they're going to start pulling back the people that are moving towards the change. And if you're serious as an organization about implementing this new vision and implementing this future, then the people that aren't on board with it may resist it and actually hold your people back. So you have two choices. You can basically get them out of the organization, or send them to somewhere like Siberia, or get them away from your people so they can't really poison the well and harm your change efforts. And this is what being, a good change manager, a good project manager, a good strategic leader is about, is understanding what people are bought in and how can you get them to join your guiding coalition. And then the other people that are actually going to harm your organization is part of the change efforts. And so making sure that everybody on your team is going to where you want to go. Otherwise, it's going to create more work for you. They might change their tone over time, but you basically have to get the change going to a point where even if they wanted to, they couldn't stop it, because they will try to stop it. I guarantee it. So enough about that, but communicating the change vision. So we talked about the different modalities. Watch the communication video again, but we talked about the different modalities in which you can communicate your strategic plan, and communicating the vision for that future is key. So next, empowering broad-based action. What does that mean? So now we have the vision of what it is, and now we want people to be able to actually do something towards that vision. They want to feel, or you want to make them feel like they can contribute to that vision, because otherwise they're not really going to be bought in to what you're doing. So that's why when we create strategic plans and we create strategic objectives, we pick things that everybody can contribute to, because then they can really feel like they're part of the team, they can buy in, they can move the needle forward. So what can you do to empower broad-based action? That also means identifying and removing risks. It also means empowering your people to make decisions and let them take control of the future of the organization, because they want to. They really want to be part of it. And the more things you can do to help them do that, the more successful your change will be, and the more closer you'll get to your desired vision. So empowering broad-based action. Next is creating short-term wins. You might have a very ambitious vision that goes into the future, but it's important to take easy wins, create small stepping stones where people can see the change is already happening. Example, if you're trying to lose weight, what have you, and then you step on that scale that first day, and then you see, oh man, I've already lost like 1 pound or whatever it is. Those are the kind of things where you say, change is happening. I believe it. I can see it. And that's what people need to do. They need to be able to believe and see that these things are happening. If you have a super ambitious vision for the future, which most great organizations do, but your people can't see what's happening as far as change, they're going to get discouraged. And as soon as you get discouraged, then you're going to have more people pulling the change back, and then these people need to work, the guiding coalition needs to work even harder to make it happen. So if you're part of the guiding coalition, what you can do is to create short-term wins, easy wins, great stepping stones to start really creating the change, and that people can see and believe the change. So this is the start. This is the middle. This is where you're talking about change here, and this is where change is actually happening. Okay? So at this point, the ball is rolling with the change going on in your organization. The next step is never letting up. That basically means keep going, because it's really easy once you get some short-term wins to say, oh yeah, we're there, we're good. Guys, we got this. We totally got this. You don't got it. You don't got it until it's done. And so you need to keep pushing, keep moving, and keep building on your success, because if you don't keep that momentum up, then it's going to grind to a halt. And it's really, really easy to think that you're finished, but you're not finished until the job is done. So never let up as a guiding coalition, never let up as an organization, and make sure that you're still moving towards those objectives until you actually get your vision. But if you've done this well, then you're going to get more and more people excited about being part of this plan, and you won't even be able to stop the momentum, but it's important to keep going, keep your foot on the gas until you've achieved what you're trying to achieve. And the final step as part of this model is incorporating change into culture. Once you've effectively established change, establish the fact that we can do this, we can change as an organization, change isn't that hard, then it makes it way easier to continue those behaviors and continue those values of change moving forward. So we talked about culture and values being super important as part of your organization. So this is the opportunity to say change is part of who we are. we've done it before, we can do it again in the future. And if you incorporate change into the culture, then the next time you have to go through this model, it's going to be way easier because people are going to see that it's doable. Okay, so just a quick recap of everything as you're going, and this is and established. So Kotter Change model, sorry, I got out of view there. So the Kotter Change model here, establish urgency, make sure people know why they have to do it and why they have to do it now. Create a guiding coalition, so get the people on board. Who is the team that's going to start implementing and making this change happen? Developing a change vision, we would have done that as part of the strategic planning process, but create that vision for the future, that tangible place that people can see, feel, touch, and smell, that they know that that's where we're going and they're really excited to get there. Communicate a change vision to get buy-in, so you need to get your people bought into the plan, into what you're doing for the future, and communicating that and ingraining that into their brains is super important. So communicate that as many different ways as you can, and remember, you have to get buy-in. So you have to connect with people before you pull them. So don't just go blah, blah, blah and talk, just explain how it's going to affect them, why it's going to be good for them, why they need to be on board. And if they're not bought in, you can get them out of there. If they aren't part of the problem, or if they're not part of the solution, they're part of the problem. And it's so true. And the longer you delay this, the more harm you're going to do to your change efforts and more harm you're going to do to actually achieving your strategic plan. So get as many people bought in as soon as possible, and then make sure you get your whole organization in line and aligned with that team vision. Empowering broad-based action. So what can you do to let your people feel like they can contribute to the plan right away? Create plans, create strategies, create tactics where everybody can contribute, and they're going to get more bought in, more excited for the vision because they know what they're doing. They're part of the team, and it's going to move that change along. Reduce risk, reduce uncertainty, and get roadblocks out of the way. Make it easy for people to be successful as part of this plan. Creating short-term wins. So what can you do to build momentum early? So create small stepping stones or small goals that's easy to see, easy to understand, because people say, yes, we're going in the right direction, we're doing the right things, we can see change happening, we're starting to believe it. Because at the beginning, when you have this, the only people that believe this vision is the guiding coalition. And you can talk about it, but it's still not real. It's still not even real to these people. They're just the ones that are tasked with making it real. And once you start getting those short-term wins, that's when it becomes real. That's when it becomes tangible. That's when people can see it, believe it, and get on board. But you need to create those small stepping stones, those short-term wins to get the ball rolling. Once you got the ball rolling, never let up. Until it's done, it's not done. So keep working, keep pushing, keep getting everybody in the organization. And what'll be interesting is that you might start with a small vision, even if it's a big vision, but once you start really getting the ball rolling, then it might go hockey stick style, and you might go faster than you even imagined. But that's because you got everybody on your team aligned with that vision. And that's when it gets really cool. But you need to keep your foot on the gas, you need to keep people moving, and you need to continually empower them with action, create wins, and move closer to that vision, and get everybody bought in internally and externally to your vision. And finally, incorporate change into your culture. And that means ingraining the possibility of creating a future as part of everything that you live and breathe. So as part of your values, as part of your culture, as part of what your people think, then you need to get them to understand that we can create this vision, or working towards this vision, and this is how our organization is. It's not that we're just doing a short-term thing to make us move. It's we can create change. We create change on a daily basis, and we create success and move forward. So as long as everybody knows that, then you'll have an easier time with your strategic planning in the future. So again, this is just an overview of John Kotter's change model. It's an 8-step model. You can Google it and research more about it. There's a few other change models, but definitely look up some of the change management books that we recommend on our book list. And then I hope this helps you create change and create more implementation success on your strategic plan. So I look forward to sharing with you in the next video, and take care for now. Bye.